The humming overhead lights buzzed in the silence before the shouting started. "Get on your knees, viejo," one of them barked, his voice shaking just enough to give away his nerves. The gas station's fluorescent lights flickered above the four men, casting jittery shadows across the cracked concrete. The old man didn't flinch. He stood by pump number 3, his hands still holding the nozzle, gas spilling onto the ground. His shirt was stained with oil and sweat, tucked unevenly into worn jeans. White stubble coated his jaw like sandpaper. His eyes didn't blink. He just looked at them one by one. "You hear me, cabron?" The younger hitman stepped closer, gun raised, finger tense. His tattooed knuckles flexed around the grip. "I heard you," the old man said, voice like gravel dragged across asphalt. A moment passed. The pump clicked off, the silence louder than before. The SUV they'd come in idled a few feet away, blacked out windows, no plates. Desert wind whipped a tumbleweed across the empty highway. This was nowhere, middle of it, edge of it, whatever you wanted to call it, the kind of place where screams wouldn't carry. "You know who we are?" another man asked, his accent thick, his jaw clenched tight. The old man looked down at the puddle of gasoline near his boots. His hand let go of the pump handle slowly. "You boys smell like Jalisco steel and secondhand fear," he muttered, brushing his palms together. "You ain't from here." The hitmen exchanged glances, uneasy, confused. "You think this is funny?" The leader, older than the others, maybe 35, stepped forward, pointing his pistol straight at the old man's chest. "We were told to make a statement tonight." "You already did," the old man said. The tension cracked. One of the younger ones moved around to the side, flanking, aiming his pistol sideways like he'd seen in movies. Another pulled his hoodie up, face now shadowed. The leader cocked the gun. "I count 3 seconds before this ends ugly," he warned. And then the old man said it, one sentence, calm like a priest reading scripture. "Does your boss know you're pointing a gun at his father?" Silence. Even the gas pump stopped humming. The youngest hitman's arm lowered just an inch. His mouth fell open slightly. The leader's jaw twitched. "What did you say?" "I said," the old man repeated, taking one step forward. "Does your boss know?" The leader blinked, something like recognition flaring behind his eyes, but it couldn't be. No one had mentioned this. No photo, no intel, just a name, a location, a target. But now doubt was clawing into him like fire ants. The old man's stare didn't waver. "Call him. Right now. I'll wait." He folded his arms, standing in a pool of spilled gasoline beneath flickering lights, 4 pistols pointed at his chest and not a trace of fear in his bones. Nobody moved. The desert stretched out behind them, endless and uncaring, the kind of place where secrets dried up like bones. The 4 men, trained, hardened, lethal, stood frozen like statues around this old man who'd just cracked open a truth none of them had prepared for. The leader, Caesar, shifted his weight. His hand didn't lower the gun, but it didn't tighten either. A flicker of something passed behind his eyes. Confusion, fear, maybe something worse, memory. "You're bluffing," one of the younger guys said, glancing nervously toward the SUV. "There's no way." "I said call him," the old man repeated, slow and calm. "Before someone here makes a mistake he can't fix." Cesar stared at him, then pulled his phone from his jacket. He hesitated a moment, then tapped. 1 ring, 2, 3, voicemail. He didn't leave a message. Another ring, this time the burner he kept tucked in his waistband. A separate number. This one would go through. He turned away slightly as the line connected. "Boss, it's done. We found him. But there's a problem." The old man watched him, eyes narrowed like he could hear every word anyway. Cesar's voice dropped. He says you're his son." Silence on the other end, then faint and sharp. "Put him on the phone." Caesar turned around, throat tight, sweat beginning to roll down his spine. "He wants to talk to you." The old man reached for the phone like he was picking up a coffee mug, relaxed. His voice was low but firm. "I told them not to come. I warned you, Ramon." Even from several feet away, the others could hear the voice on the other end, fast, breathy, almost panicked now. The old man listened for a long moment, then said, "You send wolves, and they get eaten. You forgot who raised you." He ended the call. Caesar took a step back. What did he say? The old man's eyes locked on his. He said, "If a single scratch shows up on me, the 4 of you vanish before morning." It hit them all at once. The man in front of them wasn't some random name on a list. He wasn't a loose end or a debt to be collected. He was something far more dangerous. He was blood. And in their world, blood rewrote rules. The kid on the left cursed under his breath and backed away toward the SUV. The others followed slowly, guns lowering but not yet holstered. Caesar lingered. The old man turned away, walked calmly toward the dusty old pickup parked near the edge of the lot. "You gonna tell me who you are?" Caesar asked. The question cracked with something he hadn't felt in years: respect. The old man paused, then without looking back said, "They used to call me 19. Ask your boss what that means." He got in his truck. The engine roared like thunder across the desert. Ramon hadn't slept in 36 hours. Not real sleep, anyway. He stood alone in the darkened living room of a Scottsdale mansion that was too cold and too quiet for a man who'd once run through the jungles of Sinaloa, with blood in his boots and fire in his chest. Now the air conditioning hummed like a whisper he couldn't shut off, and his phone still felt hot from the call with Caesar. 19. He hadn't heard that name in years. He poured 2 fingers of tequila into a glass and didn't drink it. Just held it, watching the amber swirl like smoke. "Papa." He said it out loud, testing the sound in the stillness. Ramon had buried that man a long time ago, or so he told himself. Not in the ground, not literally, but in his mind, in the empire he'd built by making choices that old man would never have forgiven. And yet there he was, still alive, still sharp, still dangerous enough that 4 of Ramon's best had walked away without firing a shot. He took a seat on the leather couch and finally drank. The alcohol burned on the way down like truth. Across the room, on a bookshelf no one ever touched, was an old photo, black and white. A man in military fatigues, standing next to a Humvee in Baghdad. Younger, harder, eyes like glass, no smile, no warmth. Call sign, 19. They'd said he never missed, that he'd worked intelligence so deep even the agency denied knowing him. When he left, he disappeared. The kind of man you didn't find unless he wanted to be found. Ramon had never spoken about him to his men, never mentioned where he came from. To them, Ramon was self-made. But his father had taught him everything. How to shoot, how to read lies in someone's face, how to vanish when the time came. That man had been a ghost long before he vanished into the desert. And now he was back. Ramon's phone buzzed again, a message. "Cesar. What do you want us to do?" He stared at the screen, heart hammering. What did he want? Kill him? Too late for that. They'd tried. The old man had made a statement, and now the message was clear. Cross this line and you don't get a second chance. Ramon rubbed his eyes, whispered something in Spanish too soft to catch. Then he typed back, reply. "Stand down. Do nothing. He's not the target anymore." He set the phone aside and looked back at the photo on the shelf. "What are you doing, Papa?" he murmured. "Why now?" Because when a ghost walks back into the light, it's never by accident. Something was coming. Something bigger than an old man at a gas station. And Ramon knew this was just the beginning. The morning sun hadn't yet burned the chill from the Arizona air when the old man pushed open the door to a roadside diner just outside Gila Bend. The bell above the door gave a lazy chime, and no one looked up. Not the trucker hunched over his coffee, not the couple arguing softly by the window. Only the waitress noticed him. "You want a booth or the counter, hun?" He gave a tired nod toward the counter and slid onto the last stool. His movements were slow, but not weak, measured, like every step had purpose, like every second still mattered. She poured him black coffee without asking. "Rough night?" she asked, chewing gum and tapping her notepad. "Could say that." He took the coffee in both hands. Steam curled into the air. He didn't drink it right away. Got any biscuits? Coming right up. She turned away and he glanced up at the small TV above the register. Local news. A wildfire warning. Something about stolen livestock. Nothing he cared about. What he cared about sat in the booth behind him. He'd spotted the man the second he walked in. Too clean, too still, not eating. Not looking up, but watching through the reflection in the diner's front window. Not cartel, military, maybe ex, maybe not. The old man took a long sip of coffee, then said without turning, "You can sit across from me or follow me out when I leave, but either way, you're not here for the eggs." The man stood, walked over and slid into the booth without a word. Late 30s, dark suit, buzz cut. Government issue all the way. He placed a plain black folder on the table. "Do you know how hard you are to find, Mr. Rivas?" The old man didn't answer. He just stared at the folder. The man continued. "We've been looking since you disappeared from Bogota in '03. "That wasn't a disappearance," the old man muttered. "That was retirement." The man's lips twitched, almost a smile. "Funny. The timing lined up with a certain plane going down in Panama and a Colombian senator vanishing the next day." I said retirement. The folder slid across the table. Rivas didn't touch it. "What's in there?" he asked. "Something your son can't protect you from." Now the old man did look up. "This about Ramon?" "No. This is about the people coming for both of you." He opened the folder just slightly, enough for Rivas to see one photo. A body, face down, gunshot wound, tortured. Next to it, a note scrawled in red ink. "Find 19, or we keep digging." The agent whispered, "It's not just cartels anymore, there's a war coming, and some people still remember what you were capable of." Rivas's jaw tightened. He looked out the diner window at the long stretch of road that led into the desert. He finished his coffee in silence. By the time Rivas stepped out of the diner, the sky had brightened into a pale orange glow. He lit a cigarette with a match, holding the flame steady in the wind, then flicked it into the dust. The agent hadn't followed him out. Which meant one of two things. Either he understood boundaries, or someone else would be waiting farther down the road. Rivas knew the rhythm of these things. Messages like that folder didn't come without consequences. Someone was putting pressure on the right cracks. Someone wanted to bring him back into a world he'd sworn to leave behind, but that wasn't what pulled at him most. It was the handwriting on the note, the red ink. He hadn't seen that in over 20 years. 3 hours later, his truck rumbled into the edge of a forgotten town near the Mexico border. Dust clung to the windows of boarded-up shops. A rusted playground swayed gently in the wind. The town was dead, but one building still stood open, a tire shop with its bay door up and a dog sleeping in the shade. Rivas pulled in and parked. A wiry man in his 60s came out, wiping his hands on a rag. His face froze when he saw who'd stepped out of the truck. "You got a lot of nerve showing up here, Javier." Rivas dropped the cigarette and stepped on it. "I didn't come to fight, Leo." "You sure? 'Cause last time you did, you left me with 2 busted ribs and an empty safe." Rivas gave a half shrug. "That safe was cartel money. I made sure it didn't kill your boy." Leo's eyes narrowed. "My boy's dead anyway." A long silence settled between them. The dog stood and padded closer, sniffing Rivas's boots before curling back up. Finally, Leo jerked his chin toward the garage. "What do you want?" "I need a name, and I need the truth." Leo didn't ask which truth. He just spat to the side and said, "You saw the red ink, huh?" Rivas nodded. "Then you know who's behind it." "I think I do, but I need to be sure." Leo stepped inside and returned with a dusty wooden box. Inside, old files, old names, and one photograph that stopped Rivas cold. 4 men, jungle gear, camouflage paint, all standing in front of a downed helicopter. All ghosts now, except one. Leo tapped the man on the far right. "That's who's stirring it up again." "Thought he was dead," Rivas muttered. Leo shook his head. "You should know better. He's the one who taught you how to disappear." Rivas stared at the photo, fingers trembling for the first time in years. The man in the picture had a scar that ran down his neck like a crack in glass. They'd buried him in '98. Or so they thought. If he was alive, everything was back in play, everything. The man's name was Silas Grant. Back then, in the black files and whispered stories, he was known as Ghost Knife, a cleaner, an eraser. If 19 was the hammer, Silas was the scalpel, precise, quiet, surgical. Rivas hadn't said his name in over 2 decades. Not since the jungle, not since Bogota, not since they'd buried what was left of Silas after an op went south. But the scar, the one that ran jagged down his neck, was unmistakable. "You're telling me Silas is behind this?" Rivas asked. Leo nodded slowly. "Not just behind it. He's leading it, rebuilding what they tore apart." "Why?" "Because you left. Because they left. And because ghosts don't stay buried, Javier, especially not the bitter ones." Rivas leaned against the workbench, fingers curling into fists. His mind raced back, flash cuts of screams, fire, code names, betrayal. Silas had been loyal once. Deadly, yes, but loyal. Until the mission. Until the lie. "You think he knows where Ramon is?" Rivas asked. Leo exhaled. "If he doesn't yet, he will soon. And if you think your son's cartel makes him safe, think again." That landed harder than expected. Rivas had tried for years to stay away from Ramon's life, the drugs, the violence, the shadow legacy his son built without his blessing. But now the past was merging with the present in ways he couldn't ignore. "This is bigger than a grudge," Rivas said. Leo nodded. "It always was." They stood in silence for a long beat. Rivas looked down at the photo again. The 4 men, 3 dead, 1 alive. No, 2. Because he was still breathing too, and if Silas was really alive, really moving, then it meant something dark was waking up from the past. Something they'd all tried to bury in the jungle soil and government lies. "Where is he?" Rivas asked. Leo's face twisted. "I don't know, but he's been hitting old nodes, safe houses, drop points. Some CIA ghosts got clipped in Juarez last month. 2 more went missing in Guatemala." "Message?" Leo hesitated. 1 word, written in red ink again. Rivas waited. Leo said it without emotion. 19. A chill moved through Rivas that had nothing to do with the desert wind. He grabbed the photo, folded it and tucked it into his back pocket. "If Silas wants me, he'll get me. But not like this, not in the dark." "What are you gonna do?" Rivas looked toward the mountains, his voice low. "Something I swore I'd never do again." Leo raised an eyebrow. "You sure you're still that man?" "No," Rivas said. "I'm not. I'm something worse. I'm the man who regrets walking away." He got in the truck without another word, leaving Leo in the dust and silence of the shop. As he drove off, his phone buzzed. Unknown number. "I'm coming for everything you loved, starting with your son." It wasn't signed. It didn't need to be. The sky had turned blood orange when Rivas pulled over on a ridge overlooking the US-Mexico border. The fence below stretched like a scar across the land, twisted in places, watched by no one out here. The kind of place men crossed when they didn't want to be found. He stood there alone, the engine ticking behind him, the wind pulling at his jacket. He knew Silas would come here. It was where everything began. Their first mission together, their first lie, their last mistake. And now it would be the place for closure. The crunch of tires on gravel broke the stillness. A black SUV pulled up beside his truck, quiet, deliberate. No plates. From the passenger seat, Silas stepped out. Older, hardened, but unmistakable. The scar down his neck caught the light as he approached, hands empty, coat flapping like a shadow. Rivas didn't move. "I wondered if you'd come," Silas said, voice low, throat ruined from whatever saved him in '98. "Didn't think you had it in you anymore." "I shouldn't have to," Rivas said. "But you made it personal." Silas laughed softly. "Wasn't it always?" They stood in silence, the border between them in more ways than one. "You killed people who had nothing to do with this," Rivas said. "They had everything to do with it, they forgot. I'm just reminding them who made the rules in the first place. This isn't about justice." Silas stepped closer, his face unreadable. No, it's not. It's about you, about what you did, about leaving us to die while you disappeared into the dirt like a coward. Rivas didn't react. I buried bodies for 20 years trying to make peace with that. And then you go after my son? He became what you ran from, Silas snapped. He's proof that the cycle never stopped. You think letting him live is mercy? That empire he's building is soaked in the same blood we spilled. A beat. Then Rivas said quietly, "That's why I'm here." Silas frowned. Rivas pulled a small recorder from his jacket and pressed play. Ramon's voice filled the air. "I'm out. Everything's shut down, no more shipments, no more blood, I'm done." Silas stiffened. "He walked away," Rivas said, "because I told him the truth." Silas looked furious. "You think that erases everything?" "No," Rivas said, "but it means the next bullet fired is yours alone to carry." For a long moment it looked like Silas might go for a weapon, but he didn't. He just stared, jaw clenched, then turned back to the SUV. "This isn't over." Rivas nodded. "It never is." Silas got in and drove away. Rivas stayed, watching the sun dip beneath the horizon. The past hadn't ended, but something else had begun. Not vengeance, not redemption, just the fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, cycles could be broken. He climbed back into his truck and drove east, toward the sunrise.